How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. How you all doing? Hope you all doing well. This episode marks a new beginning. This episode marks the start of episode season four. Starts it's the mark for season four. It's been three long seasons, man. And throughout those seasons, I've been through a lot in my life. My journey has taken me, to some high places, to some low places. And it's all about, man, it's all about the growth for me. You know what I mean? It's all about the growth and it's all about staying aware, staying alive, and really just, you know, fighting for justice, man, fighting for peace, fighting for equality and a system, a world, whatever you want to call it, that has very limited justice and equality for everybody. You know what I mean? Is the guys is there, but right now in the political climate that we in and the social climate that we in, we really don't get any justice, equality, and things like that. I mean, it's there, yeah. You know what I mean? The world is a lot more peaceful, but it's the injustice and inequality that goes on behind doors that we don't see that really affect us in our everyday life. In our everyday life, the injustice and inequality that we don't see is the ones that affect our everyday life the most. The justice and equality from the paperwork that's filed, from the different laws and legislations that's, placed. It's like, you know, that's why the title of this episode is going to be titled From the Top Down. Because everything is from the top down. You know what I mean? Everything is a trickle down effect. Everything is rising and everything is falling. You know what I mean? Got a new president, an old president, but a new president, Trump. We got people in high places that's going down for crimes that normal people, everyday citizens would get, sentenced to death for. You know, we got politicians committing these same heinous crimes. We got our celebrities doing things that we don't agree with. And yet and still we still listen, you know what I mean? We still listen and we still watch their movies and we still, hang on to every word they say and follow all they post and all of that. It is just what it is. It's what the people want ultimately. You know what I mean? It's from the top down. So if the people don't want this to happen, you gotta let the top know you don't want that to happen. Because the people at the top is altering the things in our society every day, right? The people at the top, you know, go to these business schools and these schools where they teach you how to promote and how to brainwash people and how to market and promote things so people could, it appeal to people. And they do this with actors and things like that. So if they see from the top that the influence that they're trying to have on the bottom isn't working, then they'll stop. I mean, or maybe just try a different tactic or whatever. You know what I mean? It's designed in a way where you can't. I don't know. I'm be honest with you. I'm always trying to be as honest as possible, but I have a lot on my mind, and to be honest with you, I just I didn't plan for this podcast. I thought about it yesterday. I said I got to do an episode four. I mean, I got to start. I got to do an episode for season four to begin with. You know, and I don't know if this is going to be that episode or not, but it just may be. just maybe sitting, maybe me sitting here practicing, but you know, it is what it is. You know, it's from the top down because we're all trying to get to the top. We're all trying to reach the top of whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. You know, whatever our goal is in mind, we're trying to reach the top of that. You know, we go into that chase, into that race with a mentality like we're not the best, we're novice. Then after a while, start to get more egotistical about it because you start getting better at your craft. Now you're like, well, my songs is better than these songs, and my podcast is better than this, and my books is better than this. You know, when you start to make that climb and you start to forget, you know, what the real goal is. The goal was just to be, you know, in that field, you know, doing something that you're passionate about, doing something that you love. But it perverted somehow. Now you want to be the best. Now you want to be better than, you know, the best. You know, better than the one who you consider the best. You know, it's not about that. You know, I mean, for many is most. For many, you know, it takes that competitive edge, that competitive thing to keep them motivated to go forward, to constantly achieving things like that. Yeah, for me, it's just sheer desperation. Like for me, it's just from the top down. Is like I've been at the top, and not at the top like braggadocious at the top. I've been at the top where I've had everything that I that I wanted and needed. Not wanted, but needed. You know what I mean? And that's a place, that's a comfortable place. Whenever you have everything that you need, all your necessities are met. You might not be paying all your bills on time and you might fall behind here and there, but you know, essentially have everything you need. I've been there and I've been on the bottom where, you know, you have nothing where you just you know trying to figure out what you're going to do the very next day or the very next moment or very next, you know what I mean, and it's like, you know, you see the same people going, you see the same faces going up that you see coming down, you know, and that's a saying because you know a lot of people they fuck over so many people getting to the top of whatever field they want to get to the top of, and then they get there and then they fall, you know, from the top down. And now they gotta see all these people that they done fucked over and everything. You know, it works the same with politics and politicians and things like that in these offices, except they don't gotta worry about um, somebody trying to hurt them or kill them later on down the road for them fucking, you know, for them fucking them over. Cause it's politics. They're playing with our lives, not theirs. You know what I mean? There's not, you know, unless somebody go crazy and snap and, you know, try to attack somebody. That's one thing. But the games that they're playing isn't really affecting their lives, is really affecting our lives. The games that we play affect our lives, you know? And a lot of us don't even understand the games that we play. They're very serious games. They're very, you know, costly games. But we all play games. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's to our detriment. Sometimes it's to make us a better person. You know, the games that we all play is ultimately how we, you know, get our lessons. Whether we learn the lessons from the games that we play or not is purely up to us. But it's like, man, from the top down. You know what I mean? It's from the top down. You know, I'm glad Trump is back in office. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I'm glad Trump is back in office. And I am going to use this episode for my first fucking episode. I don't care if I'm still a novice at making podcasts after 3 fucking seasons and this and that. Y'all gotta understand and bear with me. I have a lot on my mind all the time, man. I'm dealing with a lot. I got a lot on my mind. I got a lot of moves that I have to make in my personal everyday life. And sometimes I got, you know, I gotta separate Mr. Pagan from Mark Pagan. You know what I mean? I gotta separate you know, those two things because Mr. Pagan is working for Mark Pagan and vice versa. You know what I mean? Mark Pagan went through a lot of shit in his life. Mark Pagan Jr. went through a lot of shit in his life. Mr. Pagan is a surname, first of all, but it's also an artist name that I created, an alter ego, if you will, to help Mark Pagan and his family get out of a bad situation, get out of a situation that, you know, seems unfathomable at times. You know what I mean? Because I don't cause these situations or problems. I just, I go with the flow. If something happens, and it happens, and I got to deal with it. You know, you don't grow up trying to become a monster. You don't grow up trying to become a hero. You know what I mean? Well, I did. I always like superhero stories. I also like vampire stories. I used to want to be a vampire when I was a little boy for some strange reason. But man, it's from the top down, man. Just like they're at the top and it's a trickle down effect. The people at the top never want to come back to the bottom. So they're going to make sure that you stay at the bottom. As many people as possible is on the bottom. It makes their chances of staying at the top even more better. You know? Who am I? This is only God Concept Podcast, and I'm giving you what I see. I'm giving you my hypothesis, you know, from living in the dichotomy that we all live in. We all live here together. We all see the same shit, but for some reason we don't all come to the same conclusions for whatever reason. You know what I mean? It could be our own way of thinking, our own way of processing, different thoughts and things like that, or maybe because we just don't see things the same way. We just see things differently, you know. But common sense is something that every man and woman should have. Children even have common sense, and common sense dictates that if something makes sense logically, right? If it makes sense logically and reasonably, and it just lines up, if it adds up, if the math adds up, if the math is mathing, then it can't be wrong. But you'll have guys try to throw a different set of numbers or a different, common denominator into the equation. You know what I mean? Like the multiplication addition symbol, shit like that. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not Terrence Howard or nobody. You know what I mean? Shout out to Terrence Howard too. You know what I mean? From the top down. You know what I mean? But man, it's like the things we go through in our everyday life, living in these fucking cities and doing our thing and everything. You would think that nobody sees or really, you know, you would think that, okay, just like we watch those celebrities on TV and shit like that, and we can see all the moves that they making and all this and that. Celebrities watch us too, because they really don't got shit else to do. All they doing is making entertainment. They making hands over fists. It don't take a lot of time to make entertainment, to make television, to make music, to make TV. What it takes is it takes support. It takes somebody understanding that, okay, they're doing that. They need a little bit of time to do this. May need a week or whatever. Like you may hear an album that's fire as shit, and the artist will tell you, "Oh, it took me a year to make this song and this." It probably took them a week, and they'll spend that week making that music, and that music will make them millions of dollars because they'll go on and perform shows and things like this. And it's the same thing with movies. It's the same thing with all of the actors and celebrities you see out there and the politicians. They see what we go through out here. That's why you got so many cameras and shit like this. Because just like they got to be scrutinized by paparazzi and have cameras thrown in their face 24 fucking 7. They feel like we should have the same thing done to us. And not only, it's not just that, it's the fact, for security reasons. But the whole fucking city is monitored. So if they want to, they want to see something but know what's going on in your city or with people in society, or hey, what's going on with that guy over there? They can find out all your information and know exactly what the fuck is going on with you. But can they help you? Can they actually come in and say, hey, I gotta help that brother. I want to help this brother. Can they do that? Nope. They can have secret conversations about what you're going through. They may even talk about what you go through um in a secret manner, right? Because this is I'm sorry, I got a call. I got a call. I hope that ain't reset my podcast. But it's like, it's like an inside joke that everybody gets. And that's what these, secret orders do and shit like that. Get together, they'll spy on, not spy, but they'll just watch and monitor the shit that's going on in the city and shit like that. They'll decide whether this guy is going to be a threat to their shit or not, if they're going to allow him to be famous or not. That's why when you see a lot of these stars, the first thing before they become famous or whatever, they'll drop a crazy YouTube video how the Illuminati is after them, how this is happening, how that's happening. And then next thing you know, the video disappeared. So many female artists done it. So many male artists done it. Where they made videos about some strange shit happening in their life. And then next thing you know, they just elevate. You know, from the top down, man. It's from the top down. They watch us just like we watch them. They think this shit is entertaining. They think you going through shit in your life is very fucking entertaining. That's why, to be honest with you, I really don't support a lot of our celebrities and shit like that. A lot of these niggas who famous and they got their name out there on TV, on the radio, this and that, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve shit. And they evil, they demonic. Because they see what the people going through. And they got the money to do something about it, but they can't. Because they're puppets. They're controlled. Watching the podcast, can't even say nothing about it. The view won't even pop up. That's how secretive this shit is. They'll be monitoring your shit the whole time. Views won't pop up or nothing. It's from the top down. You know what I mean? The fucked up part about it is, you know, from the top down. I keep saying that because I want to keep it fresh in my mind, the concept from the top down. If we down at the bottom and we all in the struggle together, and I see you going through something, right? And I see you going through something like a big ass problem, through some crazy shit, right? I'm supposed to stand next to you and help you, you know what I mean, champion you to get your problem handled. Because just like you got that problem or situation, I can have that problem or situation. You know what I mean? Just like the next person can have it, the next for everybody can have the same problem and situation. So why are we sitting around watching each other go through all the bullshit that we know is being done purposely? And we know who is doing it and we know who is designing it, but yet we do nothing about it. And I'm not talking about white people. I'm not talking about colored people. I'm not talking about copper colored people, white people, black people. I'm not talking about none of them. I'm talking about people wearing suits. I'm talking about people wearing um, um, emblems and shit like that, going to these fucking meetings in these so-called religious buildings and shit like that, and these so-called office buildings and shit like that, and these courthouses and shit like that. I'm talking about the craft. I'm talking about the order. I'm talking about these lodges and shit like that that they got. You know what I mean? because they're the ones that manipulate. You know what I mean? It's evident what's going on, but y'all just can't see. I got to pull y'all fucking head out the sand, man. I'm not saying that you gotta be tough and you gotta go, you know, fight people and blow shit up and shoot and do all that and riot and protest, but understand what's going on in your environment and understand when somebody's telling you what's going on from the top down. Understand when somebody's giving you not game, but giving you a fair fucking warning what's going on from the top down. That's all I ever did. That's why I started this, to promote my own my own peace, my own well-being, to motivate people, to inspire, and to get my motherfucking message out there, and to get my motherfucking point across, to blow my trumpet, not just for me, but for my family, for my grandmother, for my mother, for my children, and for myself, for my deceased brother and my sisters who are still out here going through shit, for my nieces and nephews who don't, you know what I mean, understand anything yet. They're not even of adult age to understand any of this, to understand any of what's going on. But this shit is sick out here from the top down. This shit is sick out here, man. We all gotta wake up. You know what I mean? We laying around, we enjoying the luxuries of this, of that. It might not even look like a luxury, but it's a luxury if you ain't gotta pay for it, right? It ain't coming out of your fucking pockets. We sit around and enjoy this, enjoy that, and enjoy the public welfares and all this and all that, not understanding that, man, we just being used like a motherfucker. We being used against each other like a motherfucker from the top down, man. From the top down. Just sad. It's funny because it's a Libra scale type situation, right? Because you proud. You proud of the ones who made it out of this shit, right? You proud of the ones who became something, who was able to use whatever craft it was that they was into, right? And use their passion and their drive and focus and make it out of the rat race, out of the bullshit, right? But in the same token, they know that they could be put back in this bullshit, right? They could easily be taken from the top down. This is why they don't. You know what I mean? If it's a topic they don't want them to speak on. If it's a topic they want them to speak on, they better speak on it. If it's a topic they don't want them to speak on, they better not speak on it. If it's a viewpoint that they have that they shouldn't have, you know what I mean? They got to turn the other way. That's why they walk around. I mentioned in another podcast, another episode where they walk around with their mouth covered, with their clothes cover their eyes and shit like that. It's because they know the truth, but they can't tell the truth. You know what I mean? They know the truth, but they can't tell the truth. Otherwise, they're going to be shunned. Their secret's going to be put out there. The secret little rapes and all that shit that they did, the little homicides when they had somebody killed or set up or some shit's going to get out there. You know what I mean? All types of nut shit, whether they gay or whatever, whether they did some gay shit in jail, or shit gonna get out there. You know what I mean? Whatever your shame is, your faults or whatever, that's what they'll do you know what I mean, fuck you over, you know what I mean, to let you know, to keep you in line. You know what I mean? To keep you in line and let you know, hey, nigga, you still a nigga. You still from the top down, motherfucker. You know what I mean? You ain't at the top. You still down. You might be at the top because you got a little bit of money, you got a little bit of fame, but nigga, you still down for real. And that's what it's about. You know what I mean? We gotta notice that. We gotta realize that. And realize that when shit happen in your life, it's designed that way. You gotta be strong enough to sidestep the bullshit, jump over that hurdle, crawl under that motherfucking molehill or whatever it is that you gotta go around. You know what I mean? You gotta go around that mountain. You gotta get it done. Whatever your passions is, whatever your dreams is, you gotta get it done. I was just telling a younger brother that stay around here, man. And he 19. And I was like, yo, you know, somebody started talking to him, whatever, and I just was like, something told me to ask him, what's your passion? What you passionate about? What you love to do? And he said clothes. So I broke down the whole LLC game to him right then and there. I broke down the whole LLC game to him, told him how he could get it started, told him, in 6 months, if he link a bank account to the LLC, he could, apply for grants and loans and get business credit and things like this and start actually having his own clothing brand. You know what I mean? In them 6 months, he could actually be looking for different vendors who sell different clothes according to the styles. He could actually be doing sketches and shit like that, getting all his shit ready, getting his trademarks and everything ready for this new venture that he's going to take in life, his entrepreneurship. Because we're all born entrepreneurs. And that's what it's about. The craft works, but it works for you too. It's not like every Mason is evil. It's not like every fucking police officer, everybody in office is evil. It's not like that. I am that I am. That means if they're pushed to do evil towards you, then yeah, they're gonna do evil towards you because it's done in the mind. If they're moved, I know a lot of you can't understand this shit, right? But it is like whatever you feel towards a person, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's how they do it. And you're supposed to exercise mental fortitude as well. When if whatever it is that you feeling that you should do is going to get you in trouble or hurt, you know what I mean? You're supposed to exercise mental fortitude. But with them, they don't get in any trouble. So if they have a thought to hurt somebody, something like this, and they do it, since they're under the veil of that organization, then they don't get in any trouble. They may look like they get in trouble. They may go to jail, they might go to court, they might go through the whole spill, but they don't really get in trouble. It's just an act, it's a show. This is what they do you know what I mean? So they don't look like they're a part of any secret shit. It's all an act, it's all a veil. But yeah, man, all of them is not evil. Some of them really try to do good. Some of them really want to do good. Some of them really do good. You know what I mean? Not all of them are bad. And I say that because I have dealings with a lot of different masons and shit like that, and I don't want them to think that just because I'm talking bad about an organization because they came after me means that I'm talking about you too. Maybe y'all do feel like that because y'all masons and y'all feel like y'all part of the order, and I'm talking about the system and the craft and how it's ran and things like that. That I'm talking about you, but I'm not. I'm not talking about you as a person. It's not personal. It's nothing personal. It's just me understanding how they working against me, and understanding that they even put you to work against me. They even put the people that you know in your life. They might not have ever revealed themselves to you as being a Mason, but the people that's in your personal life that's giving you a hard time and shit like that, they putting you through shit, and they got these secret agendas. And it's like, is even if I know what you're doing in my life and I know why you're doing it and what you're doing it for, I might not ever address it to you because you're not really the problem. The problem is emanating through you. That's what a lot of people don't realize. The problem emanates through people. It's not the person. The problem is embedded in the person. You got to try to get that problematic thought out of the person if you really give a fuck, right? It's like that movie Belly, right? With DMX and Nas, and they had Minister Farrakhan in it, right? Was it Farrakhan or was it another brother? I forget. But anyway, the scene was Tommy was supposed to kill the head of the Nation of Islam. And he went there, he was in the office with him with the gun. Y'all seen the fucking movie. And that minister started breaking down something to him. He didn't even turn around because he knew his intuition. He already knew that Tommy was back there about to kill him. And he just started breaking that shit down to him. He made buns Drop that gun. That shit's still touching to me because that's how it works. You can say something to alter a person's intellect, what their thoughts are, and what their behaviors are. You just got to know the proper terminology, the proper words, the proper spell, the proper cast to say to a person. But you don't because they don't give us that information. It's not readily available. Some of us know what to say naturally because a lot of us are natural born Masons spiritually. If your soul was a Mason in the past, or if your soul was attached to these, then you already know. Then you already know. You just don't know that you know. A born Mason is a different type of Mason because you don't have to be initiated. Somebody don't got to pull you in the fold. It's just there. And when you're a born Mason, when they're using the craft against you, it becomes more apparent. That's what I've been saying on this podcast forever. It becomes more apparent when you see the shit that's going on, when you understand the dichotomy that you're living in, when you understand this from the top down. They're in all walks of life, homeless, working in all your businesses or whatever. Your best friend may be one and you'll never know. Your parents, the people you watch on TV, the politicians, the police officers, the just teachers, the fucking, they cover the whole gamut. And it's that way for total control. Unseeing, unknowing, unwitting, you know, unwilling control. But yeah, that's my time, man. My nose starting to run. I appreciate y'all for watching, tuning in, and supporting the music, the books, and the podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm Mr. Pagan. This has been God's Concept, God Concept. Over and out. Peace.